Coming up in Newsnight, the BLP urged to govern with humility and boldness amidst the constant challenges. A plan in the works to ease traffic gridlock. Barbadian students in Jamaica preparing for the worst as Hurricane Melissa approaches. And in sports, Cobia Breedy wins the World Boxing Council's silver belt.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening with Newsnight. I'm Anne-Marie Burke. The ruling Barbados Labour Party was this morning told that successful leadership calls for humility and they should never shy away from admitting shortcomings. Bishop of the Spiritual Baptist Church, Marlon Jones, also urged members to remain grounded in the principles on which the party was founded. He offered that guidance during a spirited sermon on day 3 of the party's 86th annual conference in Queen's Park. Trevor Thorpe was there.
Bishop Jones told party faithful that success doesn't come easy. It calls for boldness. But he says it also requires humility.
Sometimes we got to eat humble pie. We make a decision, we got to turn back and say, no, we can't do that anymore. That is strength. That is strength and power. Because when you have the power and the ability to say, but look, we made a mistake, people would appreciate you more. Because they reckon, well, some people would, that's a political game. But people would appreciate you more when you say, you know what, we made an error. We did something or we said something that didn't make sense or it didn't make sense.
The spiritual Baptist leader acknowledged the constant challenges facing the government, and he likened the public service to the battlefield of life in which sacrifices are inevitable.
The battles never end. We realize that. Ships in the Caribbean, aircraft carriers in the Caribbean. Not of our own doing, but the battle continues. So sometimes from your political position, you get cuts, you get bruises, you get all types of things happening to you. But you know what? We cannot turn back.
The party has a responsibility to carry on the mandate of those who came before. And he stressed that was not only for the leadership of the party, but every member of the BLP.
You decided to become part of the train of success. You brought your talents, education, and let me say this, there must be a genuineness in what you do. There must be a genuineness in what you do. So sometimes when we come into the party, we got to leave the ego outside.
Future Speaker Prime Minister of Dominica Roosevelt Skerritt, in his address, told the BLP members that steady, measured and tested leadership has never mattered more than it does now. He said Prime Minister Motley is building Barbados for tomorrow while serving today.
This delegates conference, like those before it, is not just a meeting to review policies or pass resolutions. It is a celebration of your history, a reaffirmation of your values, and a renewal of your commitment to serve the people of Barbados with humility and strength.
The Dominican leader thanked Barbados for its kindness to his country and for giving the Caribbean a voice on the world stage. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
The Barbados Labour Party is looking for candidates to represent 2 constituencies in the next general election due in another 15 months. Members of Parliament for St. Joseph, Attorney General Dale Marshall, and for St. Thomas, Cynthia Ford, will not be contesting the next polls. And Prime Minister Mia Motley says the party is working on getting candidates in place in those 2 constituencies. She also says there may be other new faces as well.
As you would expect, the General Secretary has been advised by the political leader that the nominations must now start. Let the business of finding new candidates for St. Thomas and St. Joseph begin. And I believe that there may be a few other new candidates as well. Suffice it to say that we are in full throttle. Let us go forward knowing that we have a legacy to protect. And to our faithful base, I say keep doing what you know you must do.
While not giving any indication of when the next general election will be held, the Prime Minister urged all eligible residents to ensure their names are on the voters' list. The Electoral and Boundaries Commission last week urged members of the public who were not visited during the 2025 enumeration exercise to update their electoral records. And Prime Minister Motley called on citizens to ensure their affairs are in order.
By every stretch of the imagination, we are 15 months away, and I am not going to have the Frondelian 90-day scar on this government's administration. Whenever the next election is called, my friends, it must be run on the cleanest, most reliable voters list in our history. We are now opening 16 registration centers to catch every eligible voter that the persons who went around may have missed. Our electoral process is sacrosanct. Your vote is your voice. And if you are eligible, you need to be on the roll.
Meantime, Prime Minister Motley says a trial of traffic changes on 3 key road arteries to help ease congestion will begin on November 1st. She explained that the initiative is aimed at reducing both traffic and the stress road users face daily. The trial will see 2 lanes of traffic going in the same direction along Station Hill and Cullamaraw in St. Michael, as well as St. Lawrence in Christchurch during peak hours.
It will mean that there will be 2 lanes going in the dominant direction where it makes sense. In other words, down to town in the morning and in the afternoon, out of town. We still leave Spooners Hill, Bushall, My Lord's Hill, Government Hill, for people to move in the normal way as they're moving. We want to make sure as well that we look for smarter signal timing, better turn pockets, and safer crossings.
Prime Minister Motley says if this works well, it will be continued. If not, adjustments will be made. She also revealed that she asked the Ministry of Public Works to carry out a cost-benefit analysis on the possible introduction of flyovers to further address the island's traffic issues. Prime Minister Motley also disclosed that additional electric buses are being purchased for the Transport Board.
That we have already the largest electric fleet in the region. We have 89 buses, with another 35 coming by December this year. And I announced to you here tonight that we will also be purchasing another 35 beyond that in early 2026. And why? There are too many gaps in our rural communities where people are complaining that the level of service and the regularity of bus service is not adequate. We will face it and address it.
Coming up, Barbadians in Jamaica brace for Category 4 Hurricane Melissa. As Jamaica braces for the arrival of Hurricane Melissa, some Barbadians living there are preparing for the worst but still praying for the best. Up to news time, the center of the Category 4 hurricane was located 110 miles south of Kingston, moving westward at just 3 miles per hour. And while at least 26 Barbadian students studying at the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies were able to return to the island, some like Kaya Hines are still there.
Everybody's kind of anxious, nervous. I mean, that's a normal feeling. So that's what I'm feeling right now, and I feel like that's the general mood everywhere. I'm following a news page right now, and most people, even Jamaicans, are very, very anxious. And obviously, I'm from Barbados. I never really experienced a hurricane of this caliber, but I just trying to calm myself the best I can. I try to get as much supplies as possible, charge up everything, trying to secure my windows, surround myself with the people that are left on haul, just so we have each other, and then deal with whatever happens afterwards. Any support that the government or anybody can give us afterwards, because we're more than likely going to need support and relief. If that can be offered to us, that would be muchly appreciated.
Meantime, Barbadian freelance sports journalist Gerard Morris Seeley shared that he is preparing for the passage of Hurricane Melissa.
Last couple of days, I just went to do some last-minute shopping, ensure that I get all the things that I need, of course, in non-perishable food items, water, very important, anything like batteries or some kind of portable lights that they could work with, candles, all those things very important. So that's what I've been doing over the past couple of days. I've also been checking any information that would be useful, like the evacuation numbers that I would need to call if I need assistance, where my shelter would be, obviously, in the event that I do need to evacuate. So that's what I've been doing to prepare for the last couple of days.
The Barbados Agricultural Society is reporting that predial larceny is escalating. But even as he reported the situation, BAS President Henderson Williams says plans are in the works to help farmers better monitor their farms. Addressing the BAS annual general meeting yesterday, he said even with harsher penalties, crop and animal theft continues to be one of the challenges facing the sector.
We have done some adjustments to the legislative framework in terms of what are the sanctions for predial larceny, but we are seeing and we're hearing not only about crop theft, but we're seeing these things where people are taking somebody's sheep and snatching it and putting it inside the vehicle and driving off constantly on social media. So it is a grave concern, and I know in conversation with BPS that the drone monitoring is something that they're working to have a framework for farmers to be able to put the kind of technology to monitor their farms in place.
I begin our look at sports with boxing. Cobia Soldier Breedy and Keithland King both reigned supreme at the Barbados Boxing Bash homecoming boxing event held last night at the Lloyd Erskine Sandifer Center. CBC's Amar Goodrich Boys reports on the action.
Here we go. Lights, camera, action. Fight night at the Lloyd Erskine Sandifer Center. Entertaining before the first punch was even thrown with the introductions. Keithland King in the left corner up against Edmund DeClue for this bout. That was the sound of the bell signaling the start of the bout. Round one, both competitors showing good defense, not allowing any free points. Despite good footwork, the combinations just weren't effective. But eventually, that resistance from DeClue was broken. King with a jab to the face and then a couple of body blows. Man down, the home crowd in a frenzy, knocked down. The second round didn't last long either. DeClue looking to match King with aggression, but fell victim to this. A right hook to the face, knockout in less than 10 minutes. Keithland King reigns supreme as the new champion. The main event was next, another Barbadian, Cobia Soldier Breedy in the patriotic blue, yellow and black shorts versus Dexter Marquez of Guyana. Breedy, with so much to prove in front of a partisan audience, looked active, showing tremendous speed but unable to land a few early punches. This match, unlike the first one, was a bit closer. Breedy punishing his opponent for 3 rounds, jabs and uppercuts on the menu. Marquez refused to continue and quit between rounds 3 and 4, granting Breedy the victory by technical knockout. Breedy winning the WBC silver belt in brilliant fashion. And Mark Goodrich Boys, CBC Sports.
Barbados' top female surfer Chelsea Tuat made it all the way to the Open Women's Final, but finished in 4th place during the Puerto Rico leg of the Alas Global Tour today. Tuat advanced by winning her quarterfinal and placing 2nd in her semi-final. In the final, she scored a total of 11.20 points, with her best waves being a 5.83 and a 5.37. Victory went to USA's Zoe Kiner, who posted a wave total of 13.13. Meanwhile, on the men's side, Josh Burr also missed out on medaling after reaching the semi-finals yesterday. Josh narrowly missed qualifying for the final, finishing 3rd in his heat with a 12.73 wave total, placing joint 5th overall. The stage is set in Chattogram as Bangladesh and the West Indies square off in the first T20 International of their three-match series starting tomorrow. Both teams enter the contest on contrasting runs of form. Bangladesh, fresh from a 3-0 sweep over Afghanistan, they look confident, while the Windies aim to bounce back from a T20 series loss to Nepal. The Chattogram surface is expected to offer early assistance to the fast bowlers before flattening out into a batter-friendly track. And West Indies skipper Shea Hope has been sharing his views on the pitch.
It certainly looks a different surface than Mirapuras. Again, you still have to assess every time you play on certain conditions. You got to assess every single time. But having looked at it yesterday, it looks like a different surface to Dhaka. But like I said before, we still have to assess. Rashad, he exploited those conditions in Dhaka. He saw it was a spinner-friendly conditions. And he put the ball in very good areas and made it challenging for all of our batters. But again, new series, new surface, same goals. So we just got to learn from the mistakes that we would have had in the ODI series. I don't think the surface would play as similar, but again, if it does, we still have some of those learnings from the last series.
Hope says his players are ready to turn their T20 fortunes around.
I believe if you really look at the depth that we have currently, it would be in our batting. So I think the power that we have, that we possess in our batting lineup, certainly goes, elite standard. But it's always not about what the names look like on paper, it's about the performances that you put out there. So regardless of the big household names that we would have in our squad, we know exactly what they can do. So it's just about being more consistent with those performances. And we just got to ensure that our bowlers are doing better than from the ODI series, and then as long as the batters click, I'm sure we're going to have a very good series as a team.
The first ball is scheduled for 8 a.m. Barbados time. Now, Tropical Thunder clapped 10 goals past Cropover Kings, while Tiki Tacklers edged Sunshine United when the Barbados Beach Soccer Championship continued at Brandon's. Again, Anmar Goodrich Voice reports.
Barbados Beach Soccer shifted to Brandon's, where in this encounter, Tiki Tacklers were taking on Sunshine United. Tacklers wasted no time at all from the first minute. Raheem Thompson is in, back of the bins, 1-0. 2 minutes later, Sunshine United were level. Javon Jemmett with a Super B strike, 1-1. Sunshine United then went ahead from the penalty spot. Torian Hines makes it 2-1. But the lead was only for a few seconds from the kickoff. The Tacklers equalize. Janche Jilts puts it in. Jilts got a second from 12 yards as this game remained in the balance. Tiki Tacklers leading now 3-2. But you can bet house and land that wasn't the final goal of the game. Beautiful skill here, and it's laid off to Hines. Finish from close range, 3-all. It was late in the match, but still time for one more goal, and it proved to be the winner. Jilts completes a brilliant hat-trick as Tiki Tacklers edged Sunshine United 4-3. The next match was a clash between Tropical Thunder in the black versus Cropover Kings. First minute in, Jamar Grazette already in form. Finish at the near post, 1-0. Made that 2-0 as the Cropover Kings were being dethroned. That's into the back of the net. Jamar Grazette was turning this into his own training session, shooting practice to say the least, all alone, and buries it, 3-0. Grazette quickly got his hat-trick in the easiest of fashions. He ended the match with 5 goals in total as Tropical Thunder went on to trash Cropover Kings 10-0. Anmar Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
That's our news. Thank you for joining us, and do enjoy the rest of your evening.